High creatinine 3 breakfasts you can safely eat and 3 you must never eat. If your creatinine has been rising despite medication changes and your kidney disease is at stage 3 or above, your breakfast routine might be the missing link. Morning foods influence hormonal shifts, fluid balance patterns, and toxin buildup in a way that places more strain on kidneys that already filter at a reduced rate. Today, we will go through 3 of the safest choices and 3 risky options that look harmless but cause trouble once kidney function drops. The final unsafe option usually surprises people because most think it is healthy. Stay with me until the end because the bonus tip at the end is one of the most effective habits for keeping morning creatinine stable. The first thing we cover is a morning meal that gives your kidneys a gentle start. It brings slow-release energy, minimal waste production, and a nutrient profile perfect for filtration. We begin by talking about overnight oats with blueberries. Overnight oats with blueberries help people with high creatinine because the meal provides steady nourishment without forcing the kidneys to process a heavy load of waste early in the day. Oats contain a low amount of protein, which means the body produces less nitrogen waste during digestion. That reduces the strain that weakened kidneys normally face when trying to filter leftover byproducts. Oats also contain very little sodium, which prevents extra fluid retention. Every small reduction in sodium lowers pressure inside the blood vessels that lead to the kidneys, and this protects people who already live with reduced kidney filtration. This breakfast contains a rich amount of soluble fiber, and that type of fiber works like a sponge inside the gut. It binds with toxins that normally move toward the bloodstream and reduces the amount that reaches the kidneys. Researchers at Harvard have reported that blueberries contain anthocyanins. Those compounds help reduce oxidative stress, which is a major trigger behind kidney cell injury. When someone eats a moderate serving of blueberries, the kidneys deal with controlled potassium levels instead of dealing with a sudden rise that can make creatinine levels jump. A balanced serving is important because timing and quantity have a direct effect on kidney filtration. A half cup of oats combined with a 1/4 to 1/3 cup of blueberries in the early morning supports steady blood sugar and lowers the chance of post-meal creatinine changes. A creamy version is simple to prepare by soaking oats in unsweetened almond milk with a little cinnamon. Some people add 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, although that should be optional for people watching potassium. A warm version can be made on a stovetop by heating the oats with extra water so the potassium is slightly diluted before adding blueberries and cinnamon. When buying ingredients, old-fashioned oats are safer because they avoid hidden sodium or phosphorus additives often found in flavored instant packets. Frozen wild blueberries are widely available during winter and usually contain a higher concentration of beneficial plant compounds. Storing oats in a sealed container in a cool pantry keeps their fiber quality intact. Common mistakes include adding bananas, nuts, or high-potassium toppings, which can disrupt potassium balance. Another mistake is using dairy that contains phosphorus additives, which can worsen creatinine levels over time. Some viewers may wonder how often they should eat this. Do you prefer a warm breakfast or a cold one in the morning? Share your answer in comment section below because your comfort makes it easier to stick to kidney-friendly meals. Overeating is another risk because people with diabetes-linked kidney disease must guard their carbohydrate intake carefully. Now that this fiber-rich and antioxidant-focused breakfast has been explained, it is time to move toward a warm and savory option that keeps creatinine steadier through the morning by offering high-quality protein without the mineral burden found in regular eggs. The next section covers egg white veggie scramble. Before we move on, I would love to know where you are watching from and what kidney challenges you are dealing with right now. If you are working to lower creatinine and protect your kidneys at stage 3 or above, make sure to subscribe to Kidnease and turn on the notification bell because we only cover topics that truly matter for stage 3 and above. And if this content helps you, type the number 1 in the comments or type the number 0 if it does not. Egg white veggie scramble is a reliable breakfast for people living with high creatinine because it supplies clean protein that does not overwhelm the kidneys. Pure egg whites contain high-quality protein that the body absorbs easily, yet they do not contain the phosphorus load found in egg yolks. That means the kidneys work with fewer mineral byproducts and produce less waste after digestion. About 11 grams of protein come from 3 egg whites, which supports muscle health without raising the pressure inside the kidney filtering units. Researchers at the Cleveland Clinic have noted that egg whites are one of the safest protein sources for people in stage 3 and above kidney disease. The vegetables that usually pair well with this breakfast include green bell peppers, cabbage, and zucchini. These choices contain lower potassium levels compared to vegetables such as tomatoes or spinach. Lower potassium in the morning helps prevent a sudden rise that can place extra strain on the kidneys. A balanced portion of 2 to 3 egg whites combined with half a cup of vegetables provides enough energy while still protecting filtration. People who combine this meal with a moderate carbohydrate source, like a small whole grain tortilla or a slice of approved kidney-friendly bread, also avoid morning muscle breakdown, and that prevents extra creatinine from entering the bloodstream. There are different ways to prepare this meal. One method is to cook egg whites with chopped cabbage and bell pepper in a small amount of olive oil. Another method is to place the cooked egg whites and vegetables inside a low-sodium tortilla to create a portable wrap. Both versions work well in winter when these vegetables are widely available either fresh or frozen. Many people skip checking ingredient labels, but this is important. Packaged liquid eggs often contain phosphate stabilizers, which create a heavy load for the kidneys. Fresh eggs or cartons that list only egg whites are better choices. People should avoid certain vegetables such as spinach, mushrooms, or tomatoes because they carry more potassium. Seasoning blends also deserve attention because many contain added sodium, which raises blood pressure and worsens kidney workload. Individuals with diabetes-linked kidney disease should pay attention to their blood sugar because high sugar levels increase inflammation, which can raise creatinine. When you have a protein-based breakfast, do you usually feel full for a longer time or do you still feel hungry quickly? Your answer helps you understand whether this type of breakfast fits your routine because hunger patterns influence how well someone maintains a kidney-friendly diet. If you are finding this useful so far, please take a moment to like this video. It might look small, but it shows YouTube that people with stage 3 or above kidney disease care about this information. This helps Kidnease reach more viewers who are trying to protect their kidneys and keep creatinine stable. If you believe others deserve this guidance too, tap the thumbs up now. Our next option is cooling, hydrating, and surprisingly alkalizing, which means it helps balance the morning acidity that often rises in people with high creatinine. This upcoming section explains the benefits of the apple cinnamon chia bowl. The apple cinnamon chia bowl works well for people with high creatinine because it gives the kidneys a lower mineral load during the morning hours while still offering steady energy. Apples provide controlled potassium levels that stay around 110 milligrams per medium apple, which helps people who need to reduce strain on kidney filtration. Every bite of apple also contains polyphenols that support antioxidant activity in the bloodstream, and this can lower oxidative stress that often rises when creatinine is high. Chia seeds help because their soluble fiber binds waste inside the digestive tract, which decreases the amount of nitrogen-related compounds that eventually enter the bloodstream. This same soluble fiber supports the gut and kidney connection by slowing the movement of glucose, and this steadier absorption lowers the metabolic pressure on the kidneys. Cinnamon adds support because it improves insulin sensitivity, according to metabolic research from Johns Hopkins, which means the kidneys deal with fewer glucose spikes across the morning. This is important because glucose fluctuations can raise creatinine in people with kidney challenges. Hydration from soaked chia adds another layer of help because the gel that forms when chia absorbs liquid increases fluid volume inside the intestines, and this supports filtration by helping the body maintain stable hydration levels. The timing also matters because eating fruit and soluble fiber between 7 and 10 in the morning helps stabilize metabolic reactions tied to creatinine swings. Let us take a closer look at how to use this meal in daily life because every detail matters when creatinine is unstable. 1 medium apple paired with 1 tablespoon chia seeds keeps potassium at a safe level, and this smaller amount of chia still produces enough fiber to help bind toxins. Many people do not realize that eating fruit early in the morning reduces the chances of afternoon glucose spikes, which protects the kidneys from unnecessary stress. Warm apple. Chia stew works well on colder days because heat softens the apple and increases the release of natural pectin, which further helps the intestines trap harmful compounds. Chilled chia apple pudding works well for people who prefer a lighter start because the pre-soaking increases hydration and supports digestion from the first spoonful. The type of apple you choose matters because firmer apples like Fuji, Gala, and Honeycrisp have higher natural crunch that protects polyphenol content longer during winter storage. It is also important to check chia seeds for purity because flavored blends often contain additives, stabilizers, and sugars that strain the kidneys. Apples should be kept in a ventilated drawer because this slows moisture loss and helps preserve their polyphenol content for a longer time. There are also mistakes people often make without knowing how much they affect creatinine. Too much chia increases potassium intake, which can lead to muscle weakness or irregular heart rhythm in people with chronic kidney concerns as potassium levels rise. Adding yogurt that contains phosphate additives increases phosphorus load, and this can raise creatinine because the kidneys cannot clear excess phosphorus effectively. Using maple syrup or honey in large amounts also creates problems because high sugar intake forces the kidneys to work harder while trying to regulate blood volume and glucose movement. Every choice in this bowl has a direct effect on creatinine, so people need to follow the portions correctly. We have covered 3 creatinine-friendly breakfasts that support lower kidney stress, which are overnight oats with blueberries, egg white veggie scramble, and apple cinnamon chia bowl. Now we shift to the dangerous ones you need to avoid. First on the list is breakfast burritos with processed meats. Breakfast burritos with processed meats create a heavy burden on the kidneys because each ingredient adds stress that people with high creatinine cannot manage well. Processed meats such as bacon, sausage, and ham contain extremely high sodium levels, often above 600 milligrams per serving. And this sodium triggers fluid retention that increases blood pressure and forces the kidneys to work harder. These meats also contain added phosphorus ingredients listed as Phos on labels, and these forms of phosphorus are absorbed very rapidly, which quickly raises serum creatinine in people with kidney problems. The tortilla adds even more strain because many commercial tortillas contain high potassium levels, along with hidden phosphorus stabilizers that make the product softer and longer lasting. Cheese inside the burrito increases the phosphorus level even more, which pushes the kidneys toward overload. Food science research from the University of Minnesota confirms that regular intake of processed meats is one of the strongest dietary causes of worsening chronic kidney disease. And this link becomes even stronger when these meats are eaten first thing in the morning because the kidneys are already managing overnight waste buildup. There are also hidden dangers that most people never notice. Nitrates and curing salts inside processed meats increase oxidative stress, and this raises inflammation that harms tiny kidney filtering units. Smoke flavoring also contains chemical byproducts that increase cellular stress inside kidney tissue. Large protein loads early in the day increase nitrogen waste production, which raises creatinine levels because the kidneys cannot clear the excess quickly. Many frozen burritos include preservatives that further increase the mineral and chemical burden on the kidneys. If this one surprised you, then the next choice is even more misleading because it is often marketed as a healthy breakfast, even though it hits kidney patients the hardest. Smoothie bowls with high potassium fruits are up next. Smoothie bowls that contain high potassium fruits cause a sharp rise in creatinine because the kidneys cannot control the sudden load of minerals that enter the bloodstream within minutes. Bananas carry around 422 milligrams of potassium, which is already too much for someone with reduced kidney filtration. And this number becomes even more intense when blended because the body absorbs blended fruit faster than solid fruit. Avocado brings around 700 milligrams of potassium per whole fruit, which can push potassium levels into a risky range that affects heart rhythm and nerve function. Spinach carries more than 500 milligrams of potassium per cup, and its oxalate content increases kidney stress even further by raising the risk of mineral buildup inside kidney tissue. When these ingredients are blended into a bowl, the absorption rate increases because the fiber is broken down and the digestive system pushes potassium into the bloodstream quickly. This fast movement raises creatinine because the kidneys have to regulate both potassium and metabolic waste at the same time. Many people think these bowls are healthy because they include fruits and greens, but the nutrient density becomes harmful when the kidneys already have limited filtering capacity. A combination like frozen banana, spinach, and almond butter becomes destructive for people with chronic kidney concerns because almond butter contains additional potassium and phosphorus that the kidneys struggle to clear. Store-bought smoothie bowls create even larger problems because many brands contain 40 to 60 grams of sugar, which forces the kidneys to handle both glucose irregularities and electrolyte imbalance all at once. Added protein powders raise the danger even more because many of them contain phosphorus additives that increase serum creatinine rapidly, since these forms of phosphorus are absorbed almost completely by the intestines. Buying pre-made smoothie blends makes the situation worse because labels with the words fortified or protein enriched usually indicate hidden minerals and additives that add to the renal load. Now we advance to a different breakfast that seems harmless but carries one of the most serious risks for people with elevated creatinine. The next choice is pancakes with syrup and dairy, which many families eat during winter mornings without knowing how quickly it strains the kidneys. Pancakes with syrup and dairy place heavy pressure on the kidneys because every part of the meal adds a metabolic load that weak kidneys cannot manage. Most pancake mixes contain sodium bicarbonate and several forms of phosphate ingredients that act as leavening agents. And these phosphates are absorbed at a very high rate once they reach the digestive tract. When phosphorus levels rise quickly, the kidneys must work harder to balance minerals, and this extra work pushes creatinine levels higher. Syrup brings another layer of strain because it contains large amounts of concentrated sugar that enter the bloodstream fast, and this rapid rise forces the kidneys to regulate fluid movement more aggressively. Research from Mayo Clinic Nephrology shows that phosphorus additives in processed foods raise creatinine significantly in people with chronic kidney disease because these additives bypass normal slow absorption. Dairy creates another problem because many dairy products contain high phosphorus and high potassium in forms that the kidneys cannot filter well, especially in the morning when the body is still dealing with waste that accumulated overnight. There are more hidden risks that people often do not consider. Butter adds extra saturated fat, and this slows digestion, which increases post-meal glucose levels that kidneys must correct. Added salt on top of pancakes or inside the batter raises sodium intake, And sodium overload leads to water retention that increases blood pressure, and high blood pressure directly damages kidney filtering units. Large pancake portions spike blood sugar, which raises inflammatory markers in the bloodstream. And this inflammation reduces kidney function by damaging small blood vessels. Even pancake mixes labeled as whole grain do not protect the kidneys because they often contain the same additives, stabilizers, and leavening agents that harm kidney filtration. Store-bought syrups often contain artificial flavoring and preservatives that force the kidneys to process extra chemicals while already dealing with a high mineral load. Have you ever noticed your energy dropping after a sweet breakfast and wondered if your kidneys might be reacting to the sugar and additives? Many people only make the connection once their creatinine readings start rising. Now we proceed to the next part, where you will learn a powerful bonus method that can influence your creatinine levels within a few days. Morning hydration cycling is coming up next, and it is something many kidney experts encourage because it supports filtration in a natural way. Morning hydration cycling is a structured pattern of drinking water that reduces the concentration of creatinine that builds up overnight while still keeping the kidneys safe from excess fluid. The morning hours are when the kidneys deal with the highest amount of metabolic waste because overnight the body continues its cellular processes while fluid intake stays low. This creates a higher concentration of creatinine in the bloodstream, and this concentrated waste often appears in morning laboratory readings. Several large renal clinics and registered dietitian programs have observed that a gentle morning hydration rhythm helps lower this concentrated load without forcing the kidneys to handle sudden fluid volume. The method works because gradual water intake supports better blood flow through the filtering units, and better blood flow helps carry waste toward the filtration sites in a steady way that prevents stress on compromised tissue. A small 8-ounce portion of water right after waking sends a signal to the kidneys that hydration is coming, which prevents the body from holding on to concentrated waste. A follow-up 4-ounce portion about 20 minutes before breakfast helps prepare the digestive system and improves blood volume slightly without overwhelming the kidneys. This timing matters because larger water amounts taken close to a meal can dilute stomach acid, slow digestion, and place more pressure on the kidneys to handle glucose changes. Stopping water intake about 30 minutes before food keeps digestion efficient and reduces fluid shifts that strain filtration. Returning to small sips about 1 hour after breakfast helps stabilize hydration throughout the morning, which encourages the kidneys to keep a steady filtering pace rather than dealing with sudden ups and downs in water intake. There are common mistakes that many people fall into. Drinking 20 to 30 ounces of water at once puts too much pressure on weakened kidneys because the body must shift electrolytes rapidly to manage the flood of liquid. Using electrolyte drinks that contain potassium can make creatinine levels rise because the kidneys must regulate both creatinine and potassium at the same time. Drinking large amounts before bed raises the risk of nighttime fluid retention, which increases morning swelling and worsens kidney workload when waking. Keeping hydration slow, steady, and structured supports the kidneys far better than large and inconsistent drinking patterns. Before we wrap up, here is a brief recap to help you remember the most important points without confusion. Overnight oats with blueberries work because they have low protein and high antioxidants that help protect kidney cells. Egg white veggie scramble supports stable creatinine because the protein does not bring phosphorus stress. Apple cinnamon chia bowl offers fiber and lower potassium to keep mornings steady. Breakfast burritos with processed meats cause harm because of sodium and phosphorus additives. High potassium smoothie bowls place a dangerous mineral load on weakened kidneys. Pancakes with syrup and dairy raise creatinine through sugar, additives, and phosphorus. The bonus method, morning hydration cycling, supports filtration by preventing overnight dehydration and keeping morning creatinine more stable. If this video supported you in any way, please do not leave without subscribing to Kidnease. Your kidney disease is at stage 3 or above, and you need guidance that is made for your situation, and that is exactly what this channel focuses on. And if you feel like I understood your struggle and gave you a meaningful solution, type the word relief in the comments so I know this truly helped you.